Hey, what is up everybody, Manny here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the cozy, beautiful yurt. We got a few moments of silence, so that means I gotta get this video done. Man, we had a rough start into 2024, I can tell you. Well, first of all, this car theft thing was going on. Car update, a little here, a little update here that the car didn't appear magically in the meantime. It's still gone. All the stuff in there is gone. About 8,000 euros of damage or something, I would estimate. Super, super annoying. This is maybe not a lot of money for other people, but for us it was a lot of very important personal stuff. You know, all the climbing gear gone, all the freaking bed sheets gone, yeah. And rearranging, recollecting all this stuff back, well, rebuying all that stuff essentially, that took a lot of time. And we also had some supporters during this very rough time. We came back by train, so that worked out luckily. But then, what do you do? What do you do back at home without a car, right? We live in a very rural area where without a car you can't even reach your home, basically. So yeah, what we did is we had to stay at my mom's place for some time. Thanks, Mom. We's the first one to do some, credits here. Credit where credit is due, right? We spent some time at my mom's place and looking for a new car, a new old car, because we always buy second-hand cars because it's just so much cheaper. And so that you don't run into the next big problem, you have to look very, very carefully at what kind of car you purchase there. So I checked out like maybe 10 or 15 cars or something over the course of 1-2 weeks, which was kind of a hassle. But yeah, we got some new clothes there, we got some new bed sheets and stuff like that. What everything else, so that's the first acknowledgement. My mom, thanks for harboring us. Then I want to thank very much Matteo. You know what's up? He became a huge patron, huge supporter of the channel on the Patreon page, and that's amazing. Thank you so much. This kind of financial support came just in the right time, obviously. But yeah, that was amazing. Then I want to thank Andreas as well, who had a nice, generous donation over on PayPal. Thanks for that, Andreas. I hope you know what's up. I hope you see this. Then I want to thank Torsten. Yeah, Torsten sponsored some climbing shoes and a harness, actually, because all the climbing gear was gone, as I told you. And rebuying all that new would have cost, an additional another like 500, 600 euros or something. And it's just so that Alex and Torsten, they have quite a lot of climbing gear collected in the, they have it in up their sleeves, so to say, and they could quickly sponsor a harness and climbing shoes, which was awesome, which just came in the right place, but I will talk about that soon as well. Then we have Alex. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Alex, so much for the quick draws, the rope, and another harness, and the Gree actually, and a chalk bag. So those two together, Torsten and Alex, kind of, sponsored a whole pack of climbing gear, essentially, out of the nothing for free, which was just super, super helpful in that time, because I was actually attending a course which upgraded my Kletterinstruktor that I had before to a steirischer Sportkletterlehrer, which is now a new kind of thing in Styria. They made a new law which kind of requires this because it was a gray area beforehand. It's a long story. I go into more detail on the Patreon over there, but just so you know, I could attend that course now because I had to come back because our car was stolen from our big winter holiday escape trip. And so I could come back and do that course, but I could only do it because I had all that climbing gear sponsored by these two friends. Thank you very much. And then I also want to thank all the other supporters who jumped in and did some financial stuff. I think I got a couple smaller patrons as well. And there's one more credits that I have to give, and that is to Jacob from Fingerschinder. Fingerschinder sponsored another hangboard because also the hangboard got stolen. So that's why I had to make another super annoying kind of training break here. But anyway, I wanted to thank Jakob for sponsoring very quickly another Fingerschinder, which is the portable hangboard that I always use. I'm gonna show you some pre-roll footage here anyway from the new thing as I unpackaged it and stuff like that, and also used it for the first time. Link down below. Please check out his website, check out his products. He's got some amazing stuff actually. He's also got some rings, you know, for calisthenics exercises and stuff like that. He's got some good stuff, and this is going to support small local carpentry, which I think is a great thing. Yeah, so thank you, Jakob, for sponsoring another Fingerschinder. Sorry that your first one got lost. Well, it got stolen. I should have taken more care of it, but now I've got a new one, and we are actually training on it already. And have you look at that? How is the training going? Let's take a look. First of all, let's take a look at some body weight here. We've got a 71.0 kilograms during this session exactly. That's including the clothing, so that means I was roughly 70 kilos probably exactly during that session. And apart from that, man, there is really not so much more to say than that it was one of these, you know, one-handed hangboard sessions. But instead of doing that with the pulley system, I developed this kind of technique where I, thanks to the portableness or the portable nature of this hangboard, and you can mount it in the middle, you can kind of do this trick where you move with one hand more closer to the middle, and with the other hand you stay on the side. And this way there's actually a lot more weight, obviously, on the middle hand. So here we have just a quick demonstration of the brush that I'm using for training, which is a super normal Dr. Best toothbrush, okay? And that's the best brush that you can get. Man, so many people earn like golden cars or whatever with selling boulder brushes and rock climbing brushes and whatnot, blah, 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 blah. While the best brush that you can get for small holes especially is just simply a toothbrush. Yeah? And I like the Dr. Best toothbrush because it's relatively stiff. You know, you can get into the small little ridges with it. It's very small. It's got a very small head. You can get into pockets with it and stuff. With these huge bouldering brushes, you can't even get into smaller pockets anymore. I mean, how useful is that, right? But anyway, so much about brushes. That's what I'm using. And here I'm still warming up both-handed, you know. As you have seen in the Fingerschinder pre-roll footage, I've got two big spacers on the sides, which means that the edge that I'm using there is roughly, I think, 12 millimeters or something. And in the middle, I got this kind of new spacer that they have now, which kind of closes the hole through which the rope is going. So that means you can actually, you know, really hang one-handed on that thing without having to stick your fingers into the hole and kind of cheating that way, you know. So we got that middle spacer in as well, which is great. And yeah. Here I'm starting the one-arm tanks after a short warm-up of both-handed pull-ups. In terms of fitness that I lost, it's really hard to tell, man. Like, yeah, it was another 2-3 week break or something. And I must say I don't feel like weak as I, you know, started this whole comeback thing. I think that I pulled quite nicely on the one-armers actually. But I must say, I had a pretty nice route setting session prior to this training session, like I think 4 or 5 days prior to that. And that was, again, so effective in terms of training, man, because you do the route setting and then you do the testing afterwards of the boulders, right? So you get kind of a good boulder session in as well. And I've talked about the work effect that I call it all the time, also on the Patreon, over on the Patreon. The work effect is kind of, you feel pretty good, or usually after a work session, like you do route setting, for example, for 5 hours, and you don't eat very much, you know, you just keep drilling and everything goes well. And then you go to the testing, and usually you're super strong then. After some work, you're kind of super strong, and you just want to test your boulders, you know, the grips are kind of fresh, it's not much chalk on it and everything, and you just feel super strong on those boulders. And usually these testing sessions, these testing boulder sessions after some route setting, they are amazing. And it was again the case for this route setting session. I call this the work effect, and the work effect and its effect on climbing performance in the long and short term. I've got a video over there on the Patreon explaining this in a little bit more detail. But yeah, long story short, I had an amazing route setting session recently, and that kind of got me prepped to start training again and, you know, unpack the new Fingershinder and do the first training session on the hangboard again, which is this one, the one that you see here with this on this footage. But yeah, man, couple of pull-ups. And in terms of a weight distribution, as you can see, I'm not really fully in the middle of the hangboard with my active hand there. I would say it's roughly maybe 2/3 or 3/4 or something like that of weight is on the middle hand, on the one armor hand, and the other part is on the side hand. And you can see how I kind of pull down the side portion of the hangboard sometimes, especially here with the when it's my left hand on the middle and my right hand on the edge, yeah. Because my left hand is just significantly weaker than my right hand. That's just how it is. We've talked about it many times, and it's still the case. But I would say, other than that, you know, weight-wise, I didn't gain too much weight. I still look pretty much the same if you compare this, you know, this recent self physique-wise to my, you know, older self when I train on the hangboard. So I don't think that I lost too much here through this forced little break here, yeah. And it's just, you know, psychologically, it was kind of hard after this kind of setback, not only training-wise, but this was also a huge setback for us financially, obviously, and you know, infrastructure-wise. There is still so much stuff that I have to buy back. Like, for example, my laptop was also in that car, and now I'm working from Mona's laptop actually, which is kind of annoying because I don't have the things set up that I had on my own laptop. So at some point I gotta get back and you know, a new laptop for myself to edit those videos. And then my audio recorder was also stolen. My freaking hard drives where I saved all my videos and stuff like that was stolen. So now I don't have an audio recorder, can't really record a podcast for my patrons at the moment, but that's gonna change relatively soon. I'm gonna get a new one quite soon. But yeah, man, so many little things, I tell you. It's really tough like that. And getting back on track after this hit was kind of tough. But at some point it had to be done, and this is hopefully the start of something new, something fresh for 2024. Hopefully it's gonna get better from now on. Here we see the cool down pull-ups again, both-handed. Looking not too bad here actually on these small edges. I mean, the skin also gone again, but luckily I had this one setting session, so that kind of regenerated and stimulated some skin growth again, man. But yeah, I just wanted to check in again and tell you we're back on track. I try my best to be consistent now. Hopefully fate doesn't throw anything in my way anymore. And now I have a couple of last few words here from the session.
Alright. Pretty quick session. Quite successful actually, I have the impression. Need to get back on track. Getting back on track, my friends. So, yeah, let's power up. Stay free. I'll see you soon in the next one.